I spent time with the Taliban before 9/11, and one of the biggest differences between the Taliban and the Islamic State is the Taliban was desperate for recognition by the outside world. They wanted to be recognized as the government of Afghanistan. They actually called themselves the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan. The Islamic State's completely different. They don't want recognition from the outside world. They don't think that anyone beyond themselves has any legitimacy whatsoever to comment on their governance. So when it comes to alienating the outside world, that's the mission of the Islamic State. You alienate until you manage to kill. Certainly, beheading and immolation aren't unique to ISIS. Within the world of Islamic radicalism, we've always had a problem with beheading. It may seem gratuitous, but by engaging in this brutality, by posting these increasingly horrendous videos online, the Islamic State is taking the focus off others. They're taking the focus off their military losses, and they're taking the focus off any other group which might promote a more moderate line. In recent weeks, they've lost the Battle of Kobane, and they've also suffered serious setbacks against Mosul, Iraq's second largest city and the largest city held by the Islamic State. But no one's talking about that anymore. They're just talking about the brutality of the Islamic State, which is good for the Islamic State's recruitment and takes the focus off the fact that they're on retreat in the battlefield. One of the interesting footnotes to the whole story of the video of the immolation of the Jordanian pilot was it appears that the Jordanian pilot was actually killed a month before the video was released. What appears to have been happening is that the Islamic State was trying to humiliate the Jordanians twice. In the course of the month between when we believe that the Jordanian pilot was killed and when the video was released, the Islamic State was actively trying to conduct a hostage exchange. What they wanted was an imprisoned al-Qaeda terrorist named Sajida, who was wanted for the 2005 bombing of some hotels inside Amman, Jordan, a terrorist operation that killed more than 60 people. The Islamic State was trying to spring her. That would have been a victory for them. And then once she was sprung, they were going to turn around and say, not only did you pay us money, not only did you release this terrorist, but we killed your guy anyway. Osama bin Laden once said that everyone loves the strong horse, and when they're able to humiliate a country like Jordan like this, or the United States, or Japan, they're depicting themselves as a strong horse. The last point of the execution was to try to divide the Jordanian public from the monarchy. The purpose of that horrific video was both to shock, which they certainly succeeded in doing. It was to draw moral equivalence, suggesting that what they did to the Jordanian pilot was no different than what Allied bombers do to Syrians or Iraqis when they bomb Islamic State targets. The Islamic State was trying to provoke, if you will, a humiliation of Jordan and a sense that Jordan should peel away from the coalition of the willing that's battling the Islamic State. King Abdullah of Jordan has said repeatedly that it's important that this coalition have an Arab face. If the Islamic State can humiliate Jordan into backing away from being that Arab face, then they can depict the fight against ISIS as actually a fight of the West, of the United States and Israel versus Islam, rather than a much broader fight. What the Islamic State figured is shock Jordan enough, and the king is simply going to back down. In that, they miscalculated.